In this video, I want to take that interchange and move it over some, if for no other reason than to give distance between the two interchanges. Because there's a lot of vehicles that want to come into the 6 lane or into this block, and the other interchange to play between them, they're just too close, and they're causing traffic to slow down. At the moment, I'm taking out the highway and I'm going to redraw it so as to take that kink out. Now I know I'm taking something that's going to be easy and going to spend a few minutes on it. That's only because I don't really like those pre-made interchanges. I've made one video with it, but whenever I've used it in my city or in other people's cities, I end up taking them out. Only because I always end up modifying them for the specific needs of the traffic. Mind you, my 3-way interchanges look all the same, or look relatively similar. But either way, moving it should help out traffic a lot. Though building it is going to take some time, because I don't have something planned in my head, so we're going to have to wing it. So go grab a beverage, and we'll get into it after I put this highway together. So what I plan to do, I'm going to build an interchange and then pretty much rebuild the interchange, because halfway through I come up with this great idea, which that's one of the frustrating things about doing interchanges is for me, that I'll walk into it with one idea, and by the time I walk out, it's like 3 or 4 ideas later. Fortunately, this was just an improvement on the original idea. So that's going to be that on-ramp. I'm going to push it out there. So I'm thinking that's the limit. Right? That's the off-ramp for there. So that's the on-ramp, that's the off-ramp. And I don't even know why I do this symmetry stuff, because none of my builds really, I don't really think about symmetry, and if I am, I don't realize that I'm doing it. Right, so my goal here is to get a level 1, actually no, a level 2, make it work, but just barely. So that's the road for the on-ramps, right? So it takes me forever to figure out what I'm doing. That's the other thing about recording me building an on-ramp or an interchange. I can't even tell you how long this really took, because it took a couple of days. Because it goes so far, I stew about it, went, you know what I should have done? Okay, so this one is the other on-ramp for the other side of the highway. So I've got a choice, right? I can go under, no, or go over. And since it's going to be a level 2, which is working or just barely, I just want the pieces there, and then I take a look at it and I can find out what I'm going to do. It's kind of weird or interesting that it all started with building or rebuilding that subway station. And then from the subway station I put in the pathway. Then I started fixing the road. And this is part of the road repair. I kind of figure putting the interchange down a ways will help traffic sort itself out before it needs to get to this interchange, in which I really didn't look before, but I would think because of the distance between the two interchanges, traffic slows down a great deal. Bunches them up even before they get here. Here's a hard spot. I got that on-ramp over the bridge, but this off-ramp, I need to bring it across the bridge, and then it's going to set down because the 6th lane is going to be bent this way, right? So it's got to meet up with the 6th lane. It's like, okay, well, it's there. But how do I get that down? without making it look like you need a chain to get down. Because the 6 lane is going to bend that way. So it's like, okay, well, hold on. Where do you want this to come in? So I'm going to put a little piece of road down here. And that little piece of road will tell me the angle that I want that road to come over the highway on. Yeah, I want it to be more, what would you call that? To me, I'm thinking more elegant flyover instead of such a sharp one. I know, I'm using wrong terminology. You can count on me for that. As long as you get the idea. If you can pick up what I'm putting down, okay. Yeah, this is when I realized that, the only way to do this is to change the idea. Now, I'm not going to so much move the highway rather than lower the highway. Because the only way to get that to fly over the highway and touch down and get it into a 6 lane is that when it touches down on the other side of the highway, it's already hitting ground, right? So this is what I like doing to interchanges now. Working with the terrain, doing some excavations, putting in some hills. I mean, I could do this with Move It, actually. Could you? Here's the problem with Move It. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to make this highway dip down 6-7 meters and then come back up. And that area where it's dipped down, that's where I'm going to put the bridging. So it can be very smoothly going over. Now, I could have just took those highways and plunged them into the ground with Move It. And I could have just tweaked it out until it kind of looks smooth. But you can't. It's really difficult to get a smooth thing going when you're using mods to push stuff down or up or whatever. It's always better to excavate it out first. And this is one of the reasons why. See that? I could push that down with Move It, right? Now, even though I could push that down with Move It, if I deleted that road, that chunk of terrain would pop back up again. Which means if you're using Move It to do stuff, the game remembers what it used to look like. You didn't really change the terrain. You just modificationed it. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's remembering 2 things for that spot. That's got to be a waste of data. Well, for me, it's a waste of data. You don't need to do that. So that's why I build with Move It. Then when I realize I've got that vision in my head of what I want, then I wipe that all out and rebuild it. Or in this case, if I'm working with terrain and I know that I'm going to be putting in a hill in and what have you, I pull out the bulldozer and I pull out the excavator and I'll put the slope in, I'll do whatever I need, and then just fine tune it with Move It. The game will still have to remember those spots, but it's not like it's going to have to remember such a pile. So, if you're working with Move It, there's 2 ways to use it, or with any anarchy, especially one that deals with terrain. If you can delete that terrain and the old terrain pops back up, well, that's data, that's redundant data. And I think a lot of that adds to you not being able to open your city anymore after a while. I really don't know. It just kind of works for me. So right now, I'm taking deep breaths. It's like that's where I want it to come in. I need 3 meters. Plop it anywhere. And then we're going to carry it across. You ever notice that? I always build things backwards. I think it's easier that way. I don't know why. But for like almost on anything I build, I always got to go back and flip stuff around. Especially when it comes to highways. Now that was a bad angle, but maybe I can... That happened because that point over there is 3 meters. And that's on a ramp, right? That's on dirt. So when he came out here, 3 meters was way down there. A little bit of a kink, but I think I can work with that. At this point, we pretty much got it done, right? I mean, the only thing that's left to do is hook that to the road. There's a little on-ramp that's got to get modified a little bit. And then I need one going from here down to this side of the highway, in which originally it was on the outside, but I'm going to put it on the inside. And when I do so, it's going to show me something that I may have not even realized if I would have put it on the outside. Because then I would have followed it on the outside and would have had to go down. And yeah, I'm not sure I would have realized. Just like that ramp there. It's a short little stubby thing there. But when we're done, it's going to be a whole lot longer. Because that's ridiculous. Can you imagine driving that? All of a sudden you turn, slam on the brakes because all of a sudden you're in amongst traffic. Okay. So let's get this to hook up to the highway. Right there. And it's here I'm thinking, there's something wrong, but I don't know what it is. It's like, okay, well, what was the goal? The goal was have the least amount of bridging or elevated that you can. Well, I mean, it's not all up in the air, but that's a really big arc. And this is on ground. Just pull that down a bit. And then I realized, like, well, I could pull that up from here, bring it to there, but excavate it. Like, add some dirt there, put this on land, and just before the highway, do what I did, like, on the other side there. Right? Start the bridge right at the edge of the highway. Yeah, so that ends up looking like this. I threw in some retaining walls and vegetation. I need more practice with that. So this would be a gift that I would give to somebody. If I was fixing their map and I mucked around this end of the city, did their train station, put in the on-ramp or interchange. But it's pretty much we're going to stop the renovation there. There's going to be a lot of, there's all kinds of property to play with. But here I want the practice with building these interchanges. And not just plopping them or just making everything a pylon. I want to work with the terrain. That one, I mean, it could be nicer. That bridge is a little squirrely a little bit. This is what I mean now, the off-ramp. I wanted to make it longer. Looks like it belongs to that now, doesn't it? Instead of the other one, the little short thing looked like an afterthought. Yeah. That's a renovation. Pathway goes underneath. That whole intersection. There was a build that I did that I lost the footage to, and it was the construction of that road or that intersection there. It used to be a one-way going in the other coming out. Then I thought of putting the one-way out there, a way to leave the area, which made this, even though it's binary traffic or bidirectional traffic, it's mainly a one-way into this whole huge block. There's other ways in, but this is the main way in. The main way in. Only I would design something like that, eh? It works really well. The amount of volume that pushes up into that main street is crazy sometimes. And when I say crazy, I mean that in a good way. But look at all this property to play with. I could push that commercial sector out here, make it tight but still not have it affect the street. There's all kinds of room. But I mainly came came over here to just get rid of a kink in a rail. Ended up doing this. See? Just wanted to take that out. And I thought, well, might as well show you. Just because it says it needs to be roadside doesn't mean it needs to be, right? You can do this. Create its own property. So what do you think? What would you do with this area now? I need a couple of ideas, if you don't mind. Do you think the pathway's a little over the top, or under the bottom? I don't know. Ciao for now.